So for those of you who don't know, my name is Curtis Mark. I'm a senior at Orange High School, and I'm a CADCA youth trainer. To change and transform a community, we must value what is within that community. We must see and acknowledge the potential that our communities have. And we must engage, develop, and inspire all of the youth that are within our communities. There's a saying that goes as follows: youth are the leaders of tomorrow. But here at CADCA Youth Leadership, we believe that youth are the leaders of today and every day that follows. Youth are our future, and they are eager to foster positive community change. So let's come together in the name of prevention to put an end to substance misuse. Thank you. Now I have the pleasure of introducing the strongest youth that I've ever seen, and they're going to be leading you through the youth presentation. Give them a round of applause.
Well, coalitions are not defined solely by adult members or the most experienced members. Rather, coalitions are most powerful when youth and adults unify to seek change in their communities. Being a member of Stand Strong Coalition, I have witnessed the extraordinary efforts to empower both youth and adults in the coalition. During July of 2018, I traveled into the city of Chicago for my first meeting with Illinois Representatives Greg Harris and Lou Lang to underscore the implications that the legalization of marijuana would bring for the state of Illinois. They took notes, they paid attention, they recognized the voice that youth bring to the table, and most importantly, they listened. I was able to witness firsthand the willingness of public servants, regardless of party, to listen to youth like myself. We, the youth, are the primary agents at transforming communities.
Thank you. Alcohol has heavily impacted my family. Growing up, I experienced verbally abusive behavior from my alcoholic father. His influence on me has impacted all aspects of my life. I was able to create a voice with my own voice. I was able to help a friend of mine named Fernanda, who became an advocate for prevention after I gave her my full support from experiencing a similar situation I was once in. I became heavily involved because to me, prevention is recognizing that all people have problems and that they have room for growth and improvement. Thank you.
Growing up, I watched my closest family members and friends struggle with addiction. A little over 2 years ago, my best friend, Sierra Nicole, fell into the addiction of prescription drugs and marijuana due to her father's addiction and verbal and sexual abuse. 1 year and 5 months ago, Sierra Nicole committed suicide due to her depression and her family's history of drug abuse. This made me realize how much of a problem drug abuse is in my community and made me want to take a stand. I am preventing other youth from doing drugs and transforming my community by joining my coalition, Wings of Hope. Just last month, my friend texted me by thanking me for my conversation with him and committed to returning to Wings of Hope with me. So I am simply starting small in my community, but these small acts lead to my goal for something greater. For my goal is to simply advocate for a safer and more unified community that is drug and alcohol free. Thank you.
When given the chance, youth can speak volumes. After finishing our DFC grant, my coalition had major decreases across the board for youth substance abuse. That amazing stride provided me with the opportunity to be included in a White House roundtable discussion with President Trump. That specific event will be one I'll never forget, not only because I was in America's house, but because I was surrounded by adults and youth alike that have truly transformed their communities for the better. The fact that the president chose to hear all the youth speak before any of the adults in the room really inspired me, and that he cared about all the individual communities that have really changed and made a difference, and that's what's resonated with me the most.
Two students at my high school in North Carolina, Jacob and Sammy, were killed in a drunk driving accident last year. This inspired me to become one of the first youth in my coalition, which I joined 7 months ago. Shortly after I joined my coalition, 2 others joined the coalition. Since then, it has inspired me to take the skills and knowledge I have learned to make a change to transform my community into a stronger, safer, and drug-free place so that I can hopefully prevent the loss of another young life from being taken.
My group and I use Photo Voice to reach out to the important people within my community, such as law enforcement, parents, and youth, about the effects and dangers of juuling. We've identified major hotspots where youth tend to jewel, and the pictures you have seen on display near registration were taken all by the youth. Youth play a vital role in prevention because they are able to deliver messages in unique ways through initiatives such as Photo Voice. Thank you.
On November 7th, my community had their 7th annual Choices simulation. Law enforcement, healthcare professionals, youth organization, and community volunteers came together to create a scenario where students had the opportunity to make high-risk choices, and that resulted in a fatal car crash. Local government and prevention coalitions performed a mock trial. Youth, parents, and faith-based organizations staged a memorial service. Local insurance and towing companies gave more information about the cost of a situation such as this. The journalism program writes an annual article about this simulation. Every single one of these 12 sectors came together on one day to help the freshmen of Sturgis, South Dakota. Communities can't come together like this and not leave unaffected. This unified effort creates a new entity that can never be the same. How else to show our unity and power as a coalition than to act as one?
At the beginning of last year, our youth team collaborated with leaders all across the state of Illinois to combat the issue of marijuana legalization. On April 25th, 2018, Luke Nefredes, Chief of Staff of Smart Approaches to Marijuana, former head of the DEA, Peter Bensinger, Director of Behavioral Addiction, Dr. Weiner, and State Attorney McMain accepted our invitation to speak. At the press conference, I advocated against the repercussions that marijuana dispensaries hold on underprivileged communities. Alongside a coalition of powerful youth, we advocate for politicians to transform their community and place the well-being and health of our youth over the adverse effects on our future generation. Youth are the glue to all sectors of the community. Youth unify people of faith, law, and prevention. Youth, remember this. You are not the future leaders of America. You are the present leaders of America, and all of you can make a change now.
And so this idea, this concept of unity, is what makes coalition work prosper. Earlier this week, the youth had the opportunity to participate in an activity called the Unity Clap. This activity originated a couple years ago as laborers used this activity to join together. They did not speak the same language, they had a barrier, but this activity destroyed that. So now us youth, we invite all of you to join us. As we start this clap, it starts at the same pace of a heartbeat. The change starts with youth. The change starts with us. Once we have this, the opportunities are endless. We will reach into every crevice, every inch of our town to ensure that prevention is key. We are prevention. Can we have another round of applause for our youth presentation? Thank you.